All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the TnT podcast. I'm your host Tim.
And I'm Ted.
Today we have a special guest who is back once again. This is Jake.
What's up, everyone?
How you doing, buddy?
Hanging in, man. Just delivering groceries. How about you guys?
Hanging
Working at
in,
Wally
man.
World. Working at Wally World. All right, so
Uh,
this week we'll be discussing the hypothetical scenario of more or less what would we do if a zombie apocalypse happened. We'll be comparing it to the universe of The Walking Dead, which me and Jake have seen. Ted hasn't seen anything that's relatively popular. He's laughing because he knows
true.
it's true.
That's true. That's true.
Hasn't seen Disney movies, nothing.
It's bad, man. It's bad. I can tell you that.
All right, so we'll start off with what would we think we would do. Say it happens overnight, we wake up tomorrow and the world's crawling with the dead. So Jake, what do you think you would do?
Oof. Oh man, got a lot of options here. I could go on the slaughter path, or I could go on the panic and chillax till someone comes and gets me path. But no. Well, see, it's hard to tell, but I feel like I would try to go somewhere more remote. Not necessarily like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna pack up and I'm gonna try to get across the country or something like that. But we all know the town pretty well, and I'm sure we know that there's spots where you could go where you could at least be more quiet than in a residential neighborhood. So
Yeah,
that would be the very first thing I would do.
no, definitely. All right, first thing I would do would probably, say all TV, everything's down. It's just everything's off and you're thrown into the wild. I would probably do is, first thing would be like food and water. So I'd go to whatever place is near us, see what I could see. I'd go to Walmart. See
Of course.
Yeah, gotta.
Of course.
See what they got.
Resign. Properly resign.
Go there and properly resign, in case
Yep.
this all ends at some point. I'd all this time I didn't call out, they might fire me.
True.
But that would be what I would first do. It would really be scavenge for food is the first thing I think I would do. Ted.
So for me, I'd probably grab, like you said, essentials like food, water, and try to find high ground to where try to like go north and see if there's mountains and stuff, so you can go up and try to get to the highest ground if possible.
Where you going? The North Pole?
Yeah.
No.
Where you gonna?
Ted's just going
Going
north.
to you going to the Appalachian Trail?
He's gonna keep going.
Yeah, going to the Appalachian Trail, find a high ground.
You gonna buy a German Shepherd and call yourself Will Smith and I Am Legend? It?
Oh, that movie's good.
Oh, it's so sad.
And Ted definitely hasn't seen it. Am I right?
I have not. I probably have not.
Of course.
100% not. Okay, let's put this in football terms. He's gonna meet up with Ray Rice and go up the elevator.
Oh God.
Okay.
And since it's an apocalypse, he's gonna give Ray Rice what he deserves. And he's gonna go from there.
Oh man.
He's like, no, Ray Rice, he's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Second chances, man. Everyone gets them.
He just slammed his head on the desk.
I mean, hell, Chris
I
Brown
did say
made
that.
millions,
I did say that actually. like a month after that happened, I'm like, yeah, man, he deserves a second chance. I don't know. That was the fan of me talking out of that.
Oh God. All right. What next? Would we say us three are together in a group?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we would just keep moving, keep going, trying to find stuff, or settle down and make somewhat of a community and try and survive like that, like Alexandria in The Walking Dead per se?
My suggestion: hell no, you can't make a place like Alexandria at the start. At least, too many people are going to die and stuff like that. You're not going to have the guns and the materials. You're not going to have the sources at first because everyone's going to go robbing everyone and because that's the thing. Like zombies are going to be a thing, but people are going to be killing each other and everything.
Yep, because it'd
So
be
what I
like the
would
Purge, no
do,
rules, no
yeah,
laws, nothing.
I would suggest um, going to. So what I would do is I'd go somewhere in the woods and off a hiking trail, which we know there's one nearby, and you can make your fires, you can build shelter in less than a day, and there's plenty of ways to trap and catch food once you run out of resources and stuff like that. But you need to ride it out for at least maybe a few weeks.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let society fall apart first,
Yeah,
and
because
then try and
if you try to get out there right away, you are gonna die.
yeah, definitely.
So
So you just need to get your stuff, go hide somewhere. Like I said, let
yeah,
society fall. Because I have
yeah.
actually thought about that. Like, say the apocalypse happens, how would I build a base, like, say, around my house?
Screw that, man. Get the hell out of your house. Dude, there's gonna be
Yeah.
people knocking on, not even knocking. They're gonna be people coming, people.
Barging into
Nice.
your
Yeah.
door.
Yeah. There's gonna be people kicking in your door, ready to blast up your whole family for a freaking loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Truth. But I'm saying, like, that wouldn't be at the start. That would be, like we were saying, everything fell apart. Now it's just however many survivors there are left.
Yeah.
I've thought about it. Because, most houses, like, in our town, each one, more or less, like, has their own fence. So I feel like, you connect all the fences. That gives you a perimeter this side. Let's say on my street. Then you just have to have, something at the front of the street and the back of the street.
Yeah. I mean, there's that, but you also got to take into account too that takes a while to do. Like, let's just take for example, like if you decide to take the railings off of a deck, that's going to take at least a few hours. And especially when it first starts, you're not going to have the time to really do that. Like the whole thing is you kind of have to be selfish at the beginning, not in a selfish way like, oh yeah, screw everyone else, but in a selfish way you're going to have to make a lot of split decisions um, that are going to be hard to make, you know but
Yeah,
the thing is, if you have to be selfish, because if you don't keep yourself alive at first, you're never going to find or be able to do anything for the people that you care about anyway. So
no, definitely. I agree
Yeah.
with that. Um, I'll do this one. In real terms, real life, do you think you would survive? Not, oh, I definitely survive. Not none of that real talk. Do you think you would survive a long time? We'll start with you, Jake.
um, honestly, I think that with the way my life has gone, um, I'd be better off than most people. Obviously, you can't guarantee it or whatever, and I'm not saying I'm better than everyone else, but I don't have as many ties to things as a lot of people have. You know, I don't
Yeah,
have a million family members that I need to, try to save. I don't, and plus, like, I look up and educate myself on random ass topics all the time, every day, and I'm used to doing things solo. So I think I'd be okay. I think I'd have a real problem with not knowing if a lot of people are okay or seeing a lot of people die. But I think that's something everyone has to deal with. But
yeah. And then that kind of scenario, yeah. Death would become just a regular part of the day, really.
yeah, it's even worse if it's like one of those things, because it really all depends on how it really is, what kind of scenario we're talking. Because if you got to put people down, when they get bit and stuff, that's completely different.
Yeah,
That's some
we'll say the
serious.
scenario we're talking about is basically the Walking Dead universe, but in reality. So all that would apply. You get bit, you're
Mhm.
done, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I feel like that would be the hardest thing for me, because in terms of survival, like food, water, and stuff like that, you'll get that down in no time. Your basic instincts are already there. You just don't know
Yeah,
it.
it's really just seeing the people you care about not only die, but then say they're bit, then you have to more or less, basically you have to do it yourself, which I think would
Yeah,
be a thing I think everyone would struggle with.
absolutely. The way I feel about it is you're not going to survive if you are not mentally tough. I don't care how strong you are physically or whatever. You're going to, if you can't deal with emotional problems that you have now, you will not survive in a zombie apocalypse. You will die.
Plainly put, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Ted, what about you?
Um, I'm thinking like in the middle point, like in the halfway point.
You
It's like I
thinking
feel
like
like,
a year in,
yeah,
we'll say?
yeah. Because I don't think I'd survive the whole entire thing. If I'm being honest, I feel like I'd be good up till like a certain point, until I'm like dead tired and I had nothing left, and I'm basically SOL.
So what, you,
So
you think dealing with this for too long, you would, I don't want to say give up, but basically,
yeah, I'd pretty much like have like zero, not zero hope, but like zero way out.
so basically zero
Um,
hope.
yeah.
Basically, yeah, I guess you could say.
My main question would be, and this is the whole thing with being mentally tough too, is like Tim said, if it's like the Walking Dead world, like if you got to put people down and stuff like that, you have so many more problems because not only are you dealing with normal things going through your head, you're dealing with also someone just died, and you're dealing with I have to go get food and water. You're dealing with you could be killed at any time, so you have to be quiet, and you're also dealing with you're moving so fast that you have no time to mourn or to grief about anything, or you're dead. So
Right.
if someone, you have to ask yourself, if someone really important to you died, would you be able to handle that pressure?
Of still being able to go on as if nothing happened, more or less.
Yeah.
Right.
And not
Yeah,
only
that'd be
that,
tough.
you're going on with no basis. You, especially at a start or in the middle of this, there's no light at the end of the road yet. You don't know anything about any outside sources, nothing. So you're going on not grieving, doing all this stuff for what? That's the other pressure you have to deal with.
Also,
Right.
not knowing if there's any government left, not knowing if the rest of the world is affected, not knowing anything
Yeah.
like that. Just knowing, hey, it's happening right here. It's real. It's
Yeah, you're just
Hmm.
on your own. Like you just can't let anything bother you as much as possible.
all right.
But like Jake said, it's just more of a mental game.
All
Yeah.
right. I think I'd be able to last a little bit. I don't know how long, but being what I've gone through in my life, I think I'd be able to. I don't know how to really phrase it, but I think I'd be somewhat well equipped. At least I
Yeah.
think. You know, definitely,
Well,
like you said, the hardest part would be seeing family, friends, people you care about dying, or you have to put them down. You know, that's a heavy topic by itself. You know, not
yeah.
even dealing with the fact that hey, they're walking dead that I have to
Right.
kill. There's people I
Yeah.
have to worry about. You know, at
Yeah.
any moment someone could come and shoot me. You know.
Yeah. And so many people would go crazy too. So many people would commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
So many, it's you it's tough because you really have to. It's really one of those situations where every single aspect of your life will be negative for a long time.
Yep.
So if you can deal with that, then you'll be fine. But
All right. This will be a question for Jake, since Ted, you haven't seen Walking Dead.
okay,
Do you think you would become more of a person like Rick or Negan?
Rick. But there's certain things that Rick does that I don't like.
Yeah.
I'm definitely wouldn't be a Negan because as as in as I get what Negan's doing, he's building a foundation for himself so that, like I said, you got to be selfish at times, and especially if you lost everyone in your life, like Negan did. What else would you do? For some people, or you got people like Rick that I feel like I'm more like, I feel like I would care about other people more in the end.
Agreed. I definitely agree with that. I would definitely be more like Rick. I could not see myself. I mean, that kind of world that we're talking about, undoubtedly can change people, but being how Negan's portrayed in the show, that more or less he just goes around with no mercy, killing people because he thinks they deserve it,
Right.
Mhm.
or something needs to be shown a point.
Yeah, that
I would not see myself doing that.
the
I
whole
feel like
problem is. Oh, no, keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
no, you're good. That was the end, really.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. Negan runs on a I create the rules type of thing, and all that does is to your face, people might follow you because they're afraid of you or whatever.
That's really what he
But
did. He led with fear. Was the biggest
yeah,
thing.
that's how most dictators lead. They threaten violence, but in order for people to take that literally, you got to bat people's heads in with a baseball bat like Negan does or whatever.
Yeah.
But that causes mutiny. You saw like all of his right hand man and his second in commands ended up betraying him as soon as he was gone for that short period of time. Whereas Rick, no matter what, even in his controversial decisions that everyone didn't agree with, no one doubted that if he was a good leader or not,
They,
because
no
he
matter what he
genuinely cared.
decided, they still followed him because they trusted him.
Yeah,
One thing
and
I will say about Negan though, which I've seen the entirety of The Walking Dead up to the most current episode, but I started rewatching it, is about how Negan was trying to explain how the sanctuary runs more or less, saying how
mm-hmm.
there's workers, then there's soldiers, then there's like the leadership. One thing I would say I somewhat respect is how he calls it like an economy,
Yeah,
which is
that
somewhat kind of like real life in a
right.
way. So that
But
that I definitely
you have his economy, and then you have Rick's economy. Because the thing is that when that happens, there's no real world anymore. Rick's economy was more based on everyone pulls their weight, and that's what makes them respect him as a leader more, is because his economy was based on everyone's pulling the same weight, so we have no reason to question him as to his motives or anything. Negan's economy was, it was more systematic, but it's different because it was zombies. Like he had workers, but if they didn't do something, he would kill them. Rick never threatened
or
to kill
iron their face
people.
because
Yeah,
they
iron their face in front of a crowd of
slept with
people.
one of his wives.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the other problem too, obviously.
Yeah,
But
I guess back to we strayed into more Walking Dead territory. Back to the topic at hand.
yeah, Rick and Negan.
Yeah. You have anything to add, Ted?
I mean, you guys watched The Walking Dead. I've not watched it, so that was all you guys right there.
Let's speak more generally then to get Ted involved in this.
Yeah.
Rick is more of a I care about people. We'll do everything. We'll pull our own weight.
Everyone
Negan's more of
matters.
yeah. Negan's more of a okay. We have workers and we have right hand man, second in commands. That's what I keep trying to say.
He's
But
more like a dictator, whereas Rick is like a true leader. Because Rick, if you're in his group, you're a part of his family, which I think is a big part of it.
There is only one problem I have with Rick, though. And I'm sorry, and I feel like this would be the right thing. At least for a long time, I would not take anybody in. If you're not family, if you don't know any of us, like even then, family could turn your back on you. But you cannot compromise your system for someone. Just everyone needs help. Just because you have a system that is sustaining you, that doesn't mean you're in a position where you can healthily take on more people.
So that actually was going to be my next question. Say we have an established community, we have a good amount of people, we're doing great, we got food, ammo, everything, guns. That wasn't my question. Would you take people in at the start, like say your community just built, would you start taking people in, or would you wait until you had more supplies, guns, ammo, in case there's someone bad out there and they try and
Um,
come in and destroy everything, you have the necessary supplies to stop them?
I'd wait.
if
You would
I'd
wait,
I
wait.
Ted?
Yeah, because like it's hard to trust somebody in the beginning because you don't know their intentions. But in this way, if you wait and you stack up, ammo, food, and all that stuff, I feel like you'd be in much of a better place than starting it up right away.
Yeah, because at the beginning especially, you can get people that are just there to survive.
yeah,
Right.
Like in Alexandria in the show, there's people that don't know how to survive because they have people helping them survive. Whereas I feel like
yeah,
once you're more into this thing, the people who are alive, it's either same thing, people kept them that way, or they know how to take care of themselves and could be a valuable asset.
Right.
if I'm being honest, like I'll give my perspective on both sides, and then I'll say what I would do. Because if you wait towards the end, the more stuff you have, there's obviously going to be a group that's either the same size as you or bigger than you. And the more you have, you're putting a target on your back, pretty much. You're pretty much asking for a war without asking for it, because you have to remember how animalistic people become when times like this come on. There's not really much rational thought. It's just more or less rational thought as to how they're going to take your shit, you know?
How they can survive, not how
Yeah,
we can
exactly.
survive.
And if you do it at the beginning, yeah, you could be taking in a crap ton of people who really don't give a crap about you. They're like, oh yeah, we just got this free ride. You have this stuff, and as soon as you have this stuff, boom, we'll have enough trust in you. We can just take it. We can do whatever we want with it. Personally, for me, and what I think is the smartest choice is I would keep my circle as tight as possible, and I wouldn't build a community. You know, I wouldn't feel like, honestly, in an apocalypse where I've seen people die and this and that I feel like I have an obligation to take a role of leadership and be responsible for other people's lives. You know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you're asking, like there's just too many variables. If you have a community of people, with people that you don't necessarily 100% know, if they're going to mess up at times, and you're going to mess up at times too. So who's to say I would want to be someone who would mess up from time to time, or have other people mess up, but be the one that has to take the responsibility for someone's death?
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Ted. You really need to watch this show. This would be another question, I guess, for me and Jake to discuss. I'm sorry.
Nah, it's all good, man.
Um, if you were to create a community, would you build one up, like say Alexandria, the Kingdom, Hilltop, or would you try and find something like the prison?
um yeah, it's a good question. I feel like you got to play it by ear. You really got to play it by ear, because if you stumble upon something, sure, that's great. It's much easier. Honestly, I think it's more practical to do it that way, but I wouldn't go looking for it necessarily. I feel like in the time you'd know, like the opportunity would come at the right time.
Got you. I think, yeah, I agree with you. I think the good thing about, say, Alexandria, which for Ted and anyone who doesn't watch The Walking Dead, it's more or less a town with a wall around it. It's basically what it is. The good thing about that would be it's conserving, I don't know if that's the right word, but how the world was before, so people feel more comfortable. Whereas, say, living in a prison, obviously, it's a little different than how life was before. So,
Sure.
living in an actual place that existed before, not that a prison didn't, but you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
building around houses, it gives people a sense of comfort and like knowing how to live in this environment. Whereas say a prison or something along the lines of that, where not everybody obviously has lived in, and you're not really gonna know how. I guess it might be a little, but in
Yeah.
terms of just the two existing, the more practical one I think would be finding the prison, or
Hmm.
something along the lines of that. To whereas
Yeah.
security measures are already built in, and there's not going to be as many flaws, I guess.
Yeah. I agree with you, but this is where like you got to take it away from the show a little bit though,
Yeah, definitely. Because you're not
because
just going to roll up onto a prison.
yeah, and well, not only that, but also too, like you're not gonna 90% of the time have someone who's an architect,
Yeah,
to help build the walls or whatever. And
like
more
Reg
than
in the
likely,
show.
yeah, exactly. But the reason why I keep saying like I just wouldn't build a community all because the world would be a lot worse than it was in the show. It's a lot deeper than other groups conspiring against you. You're gonna have false governments. You're gonna have people are gonna be as manipulative as possible. You literally would not be able to trust a single soul, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that. There are a lot of stuff. Obviously, one TV show can't really cover.
Yeah, and plus there's certain things that they can't show in a TV
Oh, of
show,
course,
you
yeah.
know? We're not talking about the seriously, seriously horrible things
If
that
it
would
was on like
happen.
Netflix or something, but on a cable TV, it's kind of
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
show and say certain things.
It would literally be a free for all, and that includes every single sicko out there would
Yeah,
be free to do the same. So that that's the one thing I was gonna say what I wouldn't be about Rick. I would not sit down in a bar and have a conversation with someone and talk about joining my group.
hmm
I would simply say, like, on all seriousness, like, walk away from me, or I'm gonna take it as you're gonna try to take what's mine, and that's gonna be it.
yeah. All right, I think will be the final topic for now. We could always revisit this in the future. Um, the three of us have known each other a very long time, so we're very, very close friends.
Yeah.
I'll put this in terms of Walking Dead, and then in Ted, we'll say,
Hmm.
so he'll understand it. um, Say it came down to it, Rick and Shane moment.
Hmm.
Would would you be able to kill one of us? So for Ted, I'll explain this for you and non-Walking Dead viewers. Rick and Shane, obviously Rick, main character of the show. Shane was his best friend and worked with him in the sheriff's department before the apocalypse. So they were obviously best friends. And I guess spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the show. In the end, Shane kept trying to kill Rick in different ways, and in the end, Rick had to kill Shane, his best friend. So,
Yeah. Essentially, what happened is Rick got, shot before the apocalypse. He was in the hospital and he was gone for a while. So his wife thought he was dead. Shane and Rick's wife started, shacking up and all that stuff. And when Rick came back and found them, Shane got jealous and it led to this really big buildup. And Shane tried to kill Rick,
two
and Rick,
season long build up.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and Rick killed Shane.
So we'll
So,
start with you, Jake. I don't know if we should put
uh,
ourselves in that exact scenario, but for the sake of argument, I guess we will. It's me and Ted. We're Shane. One of us is Shane. Would you be able to do it?
if we're talking about that situation,
Yeah, we'll say exact
um,
how it went in the TV show.
only if you were going to try to kill me. If I found out that you were shacking up with my wife because he thought I was dead, which in that situation specifically, they had reason to believe that because he
Oh
was
yeah,
gone for a while. Rick even tried. Rick even tried. He said to Shane, he's like, we can work this out. He continued to try to work it out. So if one of you were going to try to kill me, yeah, I would kill you. Sure, it would be hard and it would suck, but I would.
agreed. Agreed. I definitely agree. say if it came down to that exact scenario, and one of y'all were coming at me, it's if it's me or you, and you're 100% gonna kill me, then I'd do what I would have to do in order to protect myself and family. Ted, what do you think?
Uh, so if it came down to it, if like you said, I mean, I agree with both your points. Like if you're one of you guys was trying to kill me, I mean, I'd pretty much try to go back at you with it, and eye for an eye sort of thing. But even if it wasn't that situation and it had to come down to it, I wouldn't like like I wouldn't be able to have the guts to like kill one of you if that like in a different situation. If it was just like a normal situation where you had to kill someone, like your best friend, I wouldn't be able to do it during that time.
Yeah, no, I get it. The only way that I'm killing someone is if they try to kill me.
Yep.
Right.
Especially in that situation, you've already lost enough people by that time that's your last resort,
Right.
Like all past life things before the apocalypse happens or whatever has to go out the window instantly. And if it doesn't, then you're gonna end up dying one way or the other.
Yeah.
So
just a big thing through that is definitely trust. If with friends, like if you're gonna be together, you gotta have some big trust in them, for sure.
If the three of us were somehow in that situation, like we were by each other or something when it happened, what the first thing I do after I get to a remote location, every single thing would get laid out on the table, every single thing, and then you'd squash all of it, and then you go on.
Yeah.
Right.
Because once people are dying and stuff like that, all that crap from life or beforehand or whatever is completely useless. It holds no weight.
Definitely. All right, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up this discussion for the time being. Like I said, we could definitely revisit this in the future as we did not cover very much to whereas a topic, of a zombie outbreak happening that you could bring that in all sorts of different avenues.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we'll definitely revisit this in the future. For now, I'd like to thank you, Jake, for being on once again.
Yes,
yeah,
thank
you guys. Thank you.
All right. And with that said, we'll catch you guys next time.